Well, I was hoping for us to get a big reveal for me to really chomp down on for this video talking about angels and golds news that we've received so far. And last night's card of the day was the perfect thing. So let's start off with that. Crimson Impact Metatron is an utter beast of a card. Triple rare, and when it's rode on top of a grade 3, you can counterblast 2, call a card from your damage zone to rear guard, and it gets power plus 15k for the turn, and then as a once per turn ability to put a damage at the bottom of your deck to deal 1 damage to itself. So this card is utterly ridiculous. First, its on ride effect does not have an actual cost, because you just you counterblast the card that you're planning on calling, call it. So now that face down damage is out of your damage zone, and then with the second effect, you get rid of the other face down damage, put it at the bottom of your deck, get an extra damage check. Effectively get another check on a third check on your team that doesn't third check on your turn that does not increase your card advantage. Overall, very, very strong. Like that second ability is so inherently powerful that it makes this still not too bad to first ride, despite the fact that most of its power requires it to be rode from turn 4 and onwards. But yeah, this is a really, really powerful card. I've always wanted to see Bushiroad delve more into healing as a mechanic for Angel Feathers, because the thing with healing is basically card advantage, because every point of damage you heal is less attacks that you have to actually guard, which allows you to conserve hand, which basically makes it an indirect +1 to +2 in advantage. It's not like in relative advantage, I mean. It's not increasing your actual number of cards, but it's allowing you to conserve cards in your hand that you otherwise wouldn't be able to. So it's very, very powerful. And this is not only that, but it's also a +1, because like even though you have to account for the ride minus, the protect gift already accounts for that. So you get something from your damage zone to rear guard, so that's +1 to field, and it gets plus 15k, and then the extra check is really good. So this is kind of a really, really good start, and like this is like Imperial Daughters here of power. That's basically what this card is. Now, for the deck's overall power, I'm not actually that concerned, because judging by the last 7 years of being extremely reluctant to make healing effects, Bushiroad seems very well aware of how powerful healing is. So I'm very doubtful that like if they're getting this healing, that Bushiroad won't be accounting for that. I wouldn't be surprised if like healing is a main focus of the deck, if their card advantage otherwise is very limited, because like they can just use healing as their primary advantage. Now, of course, in the case of Metatron here, we are getting call from the damage zone to rear guard. Now, I kind of want to talk about the leaked Zeratul, whatever it's called, skill, which is you damage swap. Like the conditions for activation are unknown at this point, but what we know is from what the leaks claimed is that it's damage, like hand swap from hand to damage any number of cards, and then Zeratul gets plus 5k power for each card swapped. So that would also, that plus Metatron would mean, okay, every grade 3 ride is just I get to heal. Now Zeratul does that by losing protect gifts from your hand. That is something important to keep in mind. Since that, like, you have to lose perfect guards from your hand to activate it. Now, if outside of that and Metatron, like, there's no real field advantage or card advantage being generated, then like having all that healing is fine, because your healing is just your advantage. That's just how you're getting your advantage in this deck, and it would be an interesting, very different kind of deck to have around. Now, of course, the other factor is that with both of these cards, there's no real offensive push with them. Metatron is able to give you a better chance of checking crits, which is very nice. But other than that, like the power itself doesn't really like what makes Imperial a good push card is the fact that it gets a crit. And even in the case of something like Baskirk, which has crit and this about the same amount of power gain at a constant basis, it still needs additional things like Skull Dragon to help push for game. So, like, even if this is the whole deck, it would still need like a very potent finisher to really close out games. So, like, my overall stance is that this is extremely powerful, like honestly broken. But I think Burchard is well aware of how powerful healing is, how powerful an effect like this is, and would be balancing the rest of the clan around that fact. So I'm not terribly worried. Moving on from there, Million Ray is honestly what kind of gives me this sense that there won't be a whole lot of offensive push in the deck, because like let's talk with Million Ray here. Million Ray is it's the Cont ability to, when a new card has been put into your damage zone during this turn, it gets power plus 5,000, shield plus 5,000. It's important to note that it's power plus 5,000, not any more than that. Because what that means is this is only a 14k attacker. Now 14k attackers are still good, but against force, that means that this cannot form 3-stage columns on its own. And that's not a terribly good sign for offensive push-wise. So yeah. And then the only other card we have for Angel so far is White Whip Angel, which is just a crappy promo that likely won't see play and doesn't really tell us anything about the clan's playstyle. Moving on from there, let's talk about golds. So we also have a triple rare for golds, which is Player of the Holy Bow Vivian, which is I'm very excited for golds. Honestly, I think all of the clans from this set are looking very good, because Angels have healing shenanigans going on now. Neo Nectar has a ton of free advantage, and golds are a good advantage generation clan in Excel, which like those two just play together very, very well. So Vivian is when it's placed from hand on Vanguard or Rearguard, you Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1. Check top 3, call up to 1 from Rearguard. Call up to 1 from among them to Rearguard, put the rest on bottom, and Vivian gets power plus to 2,000. So this is very comparable to Spike Bouncer, except unlike Spike Bouncer, you don't have that secondary ability, but instead Vivian itself is getting plus power, and it's in an Excel clan, and being an Excel clan inherently makes it more powerful. Yeah, like I don't think there's much that needs to be said here. Like a plussing engine like this is going to be extremely powerful within the context of Excel. Yeah. And we also have Listener of Truth, Dindrain, which is also very powerful now that we know that the top call effects are going to be like call from top X instead of call from the very top card. It means that this can probably reliably be procced. So Listener of Truth, Dindrain, when placed due to your card's ability, you can Soul Blast 1 to either draw a card or countercharge 1, and this unit gets power plus 2,000 until end of turn. So obviously very strong. I do like how the second part, while also setting you up to allow more pluses throughout the game, also allows you to like put it as a solid attacker on your Excel circle, especially when going first. Like 20k attacker when you're probably going to have a bunch of Excel circles to fill as the game goes on, or at least that's how I'd try to build Gold Paladins towards, because they're going to be able to call a lot. So getting a lot of Excel circles, as many as you can to continually fill up, would be the best way to take advantage of the clan's strengths, from what we understand for it so far. But yeah, obviously very good. Card advantage, counter charge. It's looking very good for an Excel clan. And Roaring Brave Knight Tornus is an interesting card that tells us a bit about the direction that golds might be going as a whole. So Tornus is when you have one card in your soul, it gets power plus 3,000, and if there are no cards in your soul, it gets power plus 8,000. So this says that golds might be going for a kind of soulless playstyle. Now, this could be a bit awkward and honestly has me a bit concerned about the clan. Because if we're looking at a soul, okay, so like if we look at the two cards that we have revealed already, Dindrain and Vivienne, both of these cost soul, and they're your advantage engine. So keeping up a soulless playstyle, if this is indicative of the clan as a whole, the direction the clan as a whole is going, and not just a one-off common jank, if this is indication of the clan as a whole, this could be a bit awkward and could require a lot of very specific pieces to make work, and could lead the deck to some bricking potential. Because like, if we have all of our advantage skills tied to soul charging, so soul blasting, sorry, we're going to need an engine of soul to keep our soul up so that we can keep using them. But if we want to keep our soul empty during the battle phase for effects like this, then, well, we kind of want to see a perfect balance of our soul blasters and our soul chargers. And that presents a special problem when we have stuff like Dindrain, one of our soul blasters, which only activates when called by ability, which makes it a bit unreliable. So I'm a bit concerned, but obviously we need to see more because we're only 3 cards into the gold reveals. But if this is something that is sustainable reliably, Tornus is going to be extremely strong because a 17k attacker for free. Put that on Excel, we're looking at 27. That's 3 stages against Force, 4 against Excel and Protect. That's like very, very good. And it's just a solo attacker in general. It's just like that is really solid stuff. So yeah, exciting stuff. I'm really excited to see how all of the clans in this set develop going forward. But golds obviously have the most leeway to stumble out the gate because they're getting a second wave just 2 months later. So I'm not that worried if golds end up a bit awkward out of this set because like they have BTO3. They'll be fine. But with that said, thanks for watching. Despite only being 6 cards, I still went on for 12 minutes. But yeah, that'll be it for today. Match video should be coming the next couple days since I'll be going to a locals to record, and I'll start getting match videos recorded again and getting that stuff coming out. So look forward to that. This is Hunter Surge signing off.